Hello, I'm Chris Smith, and together with my friend Greg James, I'm the author of the Kid Normal books. Now, they're about a boy called Murph who has lots of adventures with his friends, and some of the adventures they have are in their school library, because libraries have always been a very, very special place for Greg and I. The school library was somewhere that I love to go, and it's amazing to be here at Ivydale Primary School in this beautiful, beautiful library to welcome you today and to launch the first virtual school library. Greg and I are going to be your first virtual school librarians, and there'll be lots of other authors coming after us. You'll be able to watch videos from us, find out more about our books. It's going to be absolutely amazing. The best thing about a library is that you never know what you're going to find there. You can find some very special books. Sometimes you find some very special people. There's someone quite special in this library today. It's Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cornwall. Hello, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Chris. Well, I'll put on my specs, and I'm now going to read you my speech. It's a huge pleasure to be speaking to you from this brand new library at the Ivydale Primary School in London. I know that an enormous amount of work has gone into making such a beautiful space, and everyone here must be extremely proud of themselves. I love libraries. They're absolute treasures of knowledge, wisdom, and hope. Whatever's happening in your life, the right book will help you through. And of course, libraries are where adventures start. Enter a library, and you'll suddenly find you're able to walk through wardrobes, pop out of rabbit holes, play Quidditch, and maybe even steal the crown jewels. Now, you might know from your history lessons that 150 years ago, the Victorians created the National Elementary School System, meaning that all children could receive an education. 20 years before, they'd introduced public libraries to this country, so I think we can all be hugely grateful to those clever Victorians for all they've done for education in this country. Now, whilst a 19th century child will feel very at home in a library, they might be a little bit confused by the idea of a virtual school library. Although I'm not quite a Victorian, I was also rather intrigued when I first heard about it. But what a fantastic idea this is. A library that allows us to read books online, meet authors, see inside their writing rooms, and enjoy reading activities, and all from our own homes. I'm therefore delighted to launch the National Literacy Trust's Virtual School Library. I said earlier that books give us hope, and our first stop in the Virtual School Library is now, I understand, to be the Book of Hopes. So let me stop talking and let's start sharing some stories from this wonderful anthology. After all, in the words of the brilliant author Anthony Horowitz, it's so much easier to cope if you decide to live in hope.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am. Now, as Her Royal Highness was saying there, we've brought together some of the many authors who contributed to the Book of Hopes to tell you a little bit more about it as we launch this new virtual school library. And the first person we've got to hear from is the godmother herself. It was her brainchild, it was her idea in the first place, the wonderful author Catherine Rundell, and here she is to tell us a bit more.
Hello, I'm Catherine Rundell, and at the beginning of lockdown, I found myself very sorely in need of hope, and on the grounds that children's fiction and those who make it tend to be manufacturers and hunters of hope, I emailed 100 writers and illustrators asking them to write something that we could put in a book, not something that would be explicitly about hope, but that would create it, that would be like putting a key in the engine of the human heart and turning it hard. And so they aimed to create hope by anything from notes of the mad astonishments of the real world, or heroic tales, or disgusting jokes. The idea is that when you read them, you come away feeling a little bit tougher, a little bit braver, a little bit more ready to face our chaotic, beautiful, terrifying, spinning world. The Book of Hopes.
So the Book of Hopes is full of all kinds of amazing stuff. There's stories in there are pictures in there are poems in there, and my friend Greg and I wrote a poem for the book. It's about a hippo who goes off to find water and refuses to give up hoping that he's going to get there in the end. And the other day, Greg and I happened to be in the park together beneath a tree, and we read a little bit of the poem for you. So here you go. Hello, it's Chris and Greg here.
Hello.
Underneath an oak tree.
In our author chairs.
Yes, and we're going to read you a little bit of the Hope-opotamus from the Book of Hopes. In a drought, in the dust, in a dry riverbed, a sad hippopotamus hung his grey head. He'd had nothing to drink since the start of this week. If he didn't find water, things could get quite bleak. The hippo was sad and the hippo was hot, but did he sit down and give in? Of course not. He remembered the words of a wise old giraffe that he'd heard long ago when he'd been a young calf.
There'll be times in your life when your road will be tough. You'll be tempted to say that you've had quite enough. There'll be people that try and convince you to stop, and you'll feel that you're just about ready to drop. But those are the times when you've got to keep moving. And with every small step, you will see things improving. Just point any way that seems hopeful to you. You move 1 foot forwards, then foot number 2. Tried to make myself giraffe-y.
It was very giraffe-y. Thanks.
I could probably sort of get a leaf with my tongue if you...
Sure. Now, one of the best things about a book is when it really makes you properly belly laugh. And one of the stories in the Book of Hopes, I guarantee, will do that for you. It's called The Incredible Instant Joke Creating Machine by Susie Day, and it's inspired lots of children to create some of their own incredible jokes. Here you go.
I made this joke up myself. Why was the pencil nervous? Because he was walking through a sketchy area. Why did the teddy bear say no to dessert? Because she was stuffed.
What do you call a dinosaur when it's sleeping?
I don't know. What do you call a dinosaur when it's sleeping?
Dinosaur.
What did the plate say to the other plate? Dinner is on me.
This is my joke video, where I'm going to be telling 2 jokes.
What's the first
First one, knock knock.
Who's there?
Cash.
Cashew.
No thank you, I'm allergic to nuts.
Joke number 2.
Our final one for today.
Yeah?
Who goes to the toilet during a party?
I don't know. Who goes to the toilet during a party?
A party pooper.
Now, as well as making you laugh, the Book of Hopes is there to make you feel positive and hopeful. And that's why we put it together in this year that's been so strange for some of us. One story that I think will make you feel really hopeful and really great is called The Store Full of Magical Things by Rutendo Tarvengarve. And here she is to read it to us.
Hello, my name is Rutendo Tarvengarve. I'm going to be reading my poem for you called A Store Full of Magical Things from the Book of Hopes. I met an old man once in a store full of magical things, whistling while he watched me, his crooked hat on his head. "What are you buying, little miss?" he asked in his cheerful voice. "There's a clock that can send you anywhere in the world, an elephant that can fly, a bar of chocolate that you can never finish, or a smile that can never fade. So much to choose from in a store full of magical things. But once I looked at it, I knew what I would take home with me, what I take with me everywhere, what I am sending now to you. A smile that can never fade, a smile that can never fade."
There you go. Hopefully you've enjoyed this taster of the Book of Hopes, which is available to read online for free, and there'll be details at the end of this video about where you can find it. Also, in this brand new virtual school library, you can listen to the audiobook of Kid Normal, the first book that Greg and I wrote together, for free this week as well. So enjoy that. There'll also be a special video from me and Greg being silly underneath our oak tree because we're your first virtual school librarians. So thanks for watching, and see you at the library soon.